Good morning, good morning. It's Wednesday morning here, the 23rd day of January 2019. It's 21 News Chief Meteorologist Eric Wilhelm. We're going to bring you up to date on what to expect today, tonight, and take a little sneak peek at what could be some pretty harsh cold coming our way next week in this video. We'll try not to make this too long. It's going to turn out to be a rainy day today, as we've been expecting. It started to rain before daybreak this morning in a lot of spots. From here on out, I'm not real concerned about any sort of frozen precipitation or rain freezing as it hits things. It's just going to turn out to be, just a soggy, mild day. We'll get into the 40s this afternoon. With this rain falling over a melting snowpack, oftentimes that's a recipe for some fog formation. We'll have to watch for that today. Enough of a breeze might prevent widespread fog, but something to watch out for, reduced visibility. But otherwise, the big story today is indeed the rain. We're going to get about an average of 3/4 of an inch to perhaps up to an inch worth of rain today. This could lead to some minor flooding problems over the next 24 hours across the valley. The rain combined with some modest snowmelt. The whole snowpack's not going to melt because it's going to turn colder again by tonight, but partial melting of the snowpack combined with that much rain, some minor flooding problems. Here's a look at the forecast for the Mahoning River at Leavittsburg up in Trumbull County. This crest let me get my drawing tool, right here, is just shy of flood stage, and that crest is expected early in the afternoon on Thursday, well after the rain ends. There's always a lag time, but well after the rain ends, there could be a crest up near 9 feet, just a foot shy of flood stage at that particular location. If you live in an area that tends to be a little bit flood prone like this, or near Eagle Creek in southwestern Trumbull County, just keep an eye on things over the next 24 hours or so with this rain coming through. All right, so let's time out the rain and then the transition to snow that we expect tonight. It's just going to rain most of the day today. Just plan on a washout. The rain becomes a little more intermittent this evening, and then here comes the colder air. A chilly rain for this evening, and then by about midnight, maybe as early as 11 p.m., we're going to see a transition over to wet snow. And this could be heavy wet snow. These could be big bomber flakes coming down for a few hours tonight. So it should be snowing just about everywhere by about 2 o'clock in the morning. So that transition occurs between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. And it snows pretty decently for a few hours. The steadiest of the snow will be crossing the state line and just about out of our viewing area by just before daybreak tomorrow morning, 6, 7 a.m. by tomorrow morning. Now, snowfall amounts with this, you can't see the bottom of this graph, and I apologize, but you can see there's a model clustering right around 1.5 inches, and I think that's about right. I think a lot of us are going to see 1 inch or 2 isolated 3-inch amounts tonight, but I think 1 inch or 2 will be a pretty good average as far as our snow goes tonight. Again, the timing on it, we see that transition to snow right around midnight, and then it tapers off from west to east before daybreak between, say, 5 and 7 a.m. So, yeah, things can be a little bit slick tomorrow morning. I've gotten some questions about that already, and that's something you'll just have to watch out for tomorrow morning. It's not all the snow in the world, but it could be enough to make things a little bit slick. In addition, temperatures will be falling below freezing after all the wetness today. Watch for a refreeze of some wet areas tomorrow morning. Real quickly, a few words about next week. I touched on this on Weather for Weather Geeks last night. The potential is there for a really harsh cold snap next week, the likes of which we haven't seen for a few years. This is probably the worst case scenario. This isn't probably totally realistic, but it's probably a worst case scenario graphic. I wanted to show you what's on the table, even if these numbers are a little too cold. These are the wind chills on the European model for next Wednesday morning. Locally up to 20 below. Look at some of these awful numbers out to our west. That's next Wednesday morning, the 30th of January. Next Thursday morning, the last day of January, is probably going to be our coldest morning of the winter here. These are wind chill numbers that could be down to minus 30. Again, these numbers are likely too low by some degree, but even if they're 40% too low, that's still really cold. That air next week means some serious business. So we'll, of course, have more updates on that as we get a little bit closer, but it's on the table that we see a harsh cold snap to wrap up the month of January next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you have a great Wednesday. I'll see you tonight on 21 News at 6 and 11, and on the Valley's most in-depth weather forecast, Weather for Weather Geeks.